Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your recap of last night's episode of WWE Superstars on Thursday night, this first Thursday in October 2014. Leading off the evening from the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, we had a one-fall match between Matt Hardy and Kofi Kingston. We last saw Matt Hardy on Raw as he lost in a similar one-fall match to the Road Dogg, and here comes Kofi making his way out as well. Our Superstars shows will be clip shows. We will show the full main event every week here on YouTube. Everything leading up to the main event will have the highlights of the match taken. So, moving into this match, we have a little bit of the story behind it with Kofi Kingston especially. He's kind of the big draw here because no one knows what he's doing anymore. He has most recently been on a very successful tag team with R-Truth, but as we've mentioned earlier this week, they're kind of on the outs anymore. They haven't wrestled together since they lost their tag team titles to the Road Warriors back before Money in the Bank, and they've actually been actively feuding with each other, and many of the kind of armchair wrestling fans attribute this to a falling out between Kofi, R-Truth, Eve Torres, and Beth Phoenix, where the two ladies kind of romantically attached themselves to the two gentlemen, and this just tension brewed between all four people within the group, and it seemed to have drove R-Truth and Kofi Kingston apart. Now, R-Truth used the downtime in the singles competition to move very high up the card on Raw. He had, heading into SummerSlam, one of the better feuds we'd seen in a long time, playing the role of very renowned good guy taking on the big evil force of Brodus Clay here on Raw. He won some, he lost some, but during that feud, Kofi Kingston, more often than not, made his way into R-Truth's matches and chose to not help R-Truth. He chose to actually hinder his former friend. There have been instances in recent weeks where Kofi has come out to help R-Truth, and you just look at the whole thing, and you look at the way that Kofi gets booed, including when he came down to the ring last night for Superstars, and you just realize that he's kind of an unstable man. Now, looking at this match against Matt Hardy, it's kind of going back and forth, but here, Hardy's got Kofi in a headlock, and Hardy himself is still trying to get some kind of presence here in WWE. Not his first tour of duty here in the big leagues, but he's trying to do something with his time here, and hoping to get a win against Kofi, who seems to be mentally unstable enough to afford a loss here. But Kofi reversing out there with a clothesline to the back. There's a kick. There's a Trouble in Paradise out of nowhere. Kofi covers. We've got not even a one count before Matt Hardy kicks out and the match carries on. Matt Hardy throwing Kofi into the turnbuckle here. He throws him back out. Sits himself up. We know what's coming here. There's the signal, and there's a big Matt Hardy leg drop right across the neck of Kofi Kingston, slamming the back of his head into the mat. You know that one's going to hurt, ladies and gentlemen. Kofi staggered, but he knees Hardy in the gut and transitions to stagger. He goes for a punch. Hardy reverses. Oh, big time! Big time neck breaker there from Matt Hardy. He's got a pin 1, 2. Kofi kicks out after 2. And Kofi gets up swinging punches to the gut. He's got Matt in a headlock. There's a huge Hurricane Rana. We transition further into the match, and Matt knocks Kofi down with a big-time running clothesline. Kofi reverses out of the ensuing hold, though, and there's a monkey flip into the corner. And Kofi on the outside, he's freaking out. He's feeling it. The crowd doesn't care. They want no part of Kofi Kingston. They want Matt Hardy to win here. But Kofi puts Matt up on top of the turnbuckle. Big move coming in, and there's a gigantic top rope Hurricane Rana. Kofi jumps up on top, and he misses the leg drop. Hardy kips up out of the way. Later in the match, Kofi feeling it. Hardy reverses. Kofi reverses. Oh, and there's a big reverse Russian suplex. What am I talking? Russian leg sweep. I'm sorry about that, guys. And Kofi, another big Trouble in Paradise out of nowhere. And that's your match, ladies and gentlemen. That's got to be it. 1. Oh, just a 1 count, and Hardy kicks out. Later in the match, still Hardy covering Kofi for a pin. Kofi kicks out. Both men get up. Kofi charges. There's another monkey flip into the ropes. And Kofi going up top again. Is it another leg drop? It is, and this time he connects. Guillotining Matt Hardy right into the mat, cutting his head off. And he's behind. He rolls him up in a crucifix. He's going for the pin. But Hardy kicks out before the ref can get a 1 count. Kofi not getting the favorable calls here. Oh, and Kofi with the huge move. He's got him in a pin. 1, 2. 3. Kofi wins the match out of nowhere. The high energy style comes through for him. Matt Hardy's still out of luck. Kofi Kingston gets a win here. And it doesn't do much to tell us anything about what Kofi and R-Truth are going to have in their future moving forward. But a win here for Kofi, at the very least, is going to push him up the card in singles competition on Raw. And could very well keep him away from R-Truth and keep him away from his former partner's career. That is, if they are even truly former partners at this point. That has yet to be seen. And the second match of the evening saw Santino Marella versus the Road Dogg, as they, in singles competition, decided to reprise a very long-running rivalry they had that they have not visited in recent weeks because the Road Dogg was preoccupied with the big red monster Kane last month. But ever since the Road Dogg had his long summer United States Championship reign, Santino was the biggest thorn in his side heading into SummerSlam, where Road Dogg eventually lost the title to David Otunga in a match that Santino was also a part of. Now, the loss of the title does not stop these two from hating each other as they always have, and the Road Dogg is quite possibly looking for the chance to get back into the hunt for the United States title, which currently hangs around the waist of The Miz, who we have not seen since Night of Champions, mind you. We have no idea where he is with the belt, but he has certainly not been around to so much as talk about it. Now, into the match we go. These two have spilled each other's blood quite often. We expected a good one, and we got a good one. Santino with the early lead. Road Dogg reversing out, making sure Santino's planted firmly in the corner. He puts Santino up on the turnbuckle very early into the match. Santino reverses out, and he's looking for something big. And there's a huge flying clothesline. And now later in the match, Santino's got punches to the point where Road Dogg staggered. Flips him around with a snapmare into a reverse chinlock, driving the knee into the back. Road Dogg looks like he might tap out, but he fights his way out of it. He's got Santino down on the mat, and he goes for a kick. But then there's Santino out of nowhere with the Santino stunner. Road Dogg's on his back in the ring. Santino dragging him away from the ropes, trying to get a good position for a pinfall. Could this be an early win? Just a 1 count. Road Dogg kicks out. They're not going to let the rivalry end like that. Later in the match, still, we're reversing more punches into a huge back body drop from the Road Dogg. But the Road Dogg's head is already hurting here, and Santino is just, there we go, pounding away on it. There's the Bulldog, and the Road Dogg is bleeding. We have blood, we have juice, get the sippy cups, you know the drill here on Superstars. And moments later, Santino pulls out the Cobra after a big punch, and there it is, he levels Road Dogg with it. This has to be the end of the match. I don't want to call it an upset because all bets are off between these two. Oh my god, there's a 1 count and a kick out from the Road Dogg. Never mind, and now here's Santino. The Cobra wants to come out again. Road Dogg, using it to his advantage, locks Santino up, dragging the arm around into a big drop toe hold, landing Santino right on his face. We go further into the match after that distraction, and the Road Dogg looking to gain control again. Big shoulder tackle, sending Santino on his back, and the Road Dogg backing away. He exits the ring here. Santino giving chase, bounces off the ropes instead, and now the Road Dogg is dismantling the ringside announcer's table. Santino makes his way out of the ring, misses. No, he hits on a springboard, but he takes the bigger part of that impact. And now Road Dogg outside, a big back body drop. Santino through the table. Oh my god, that couldn't have been lined up any more perfectly. And now here's Road Dogg with his pump handle slam, the finishing maneuver onto the table. Santino in all kinds of agony, but he reverses out, and there's a reverse Russian leg sweep. Both men full of shrapnel from the table. Now we go further into the match, back in the ring. Santino taking control of the leg. He gives himself the sign of the cross, backs up, and here it is, the diving headbutt. Oh, there it is. Road Dogg can't like the feel of that. Santino's feeling it. He's pumped up. Road Dogg staggered on his feet, but he gets out of the way. And then Santino gets out of the way, and now Road Dogg rolls him up. I can't tell who's pinning who here, but we're rolling around. We've got reversals. I can't tell who's going to come out on top. Whose shoulders are down right now? How can the referee even tell? We're going back and forth and back and forth. This is certainly not the Road Dogg style of wrestling here, but he's doing what he can to survive, and now we finally kick out. And later in the match, there's Santino with another huge running Bulldog, and he goes up top. He's looking for something big, and he hits the elbow drop right to the lower back of the Road Dogg, but the Road Dogg reverses out of the ensuing grapple, and we've got a punch into another big pump handle slam here from the Road Dogg, right in the corner. And the Road Dogg pulls Santino towards the center of the ring, away from the ropes. We've got a pin. 1, 2, 3. The Road Dogg picks up a victory over his rival Santino. And perhaps, just perhaps, he is slowly climbing that ladder again, chasing down The Miz, trying to get his United States Championship back. We can't know for sure if that's what he's going after, but we have not seen any sign of Kane in his matches since Kane burned the Road Dogg pretty severely at Night of Champions in their Inferno match. It looks like Road Dogg had that month, had that chase of the big man, and realized he's better suited chasing gold than he is a demon. And moving into our third match of the evening, another one-fall matchup, this from two of our SmackDown competitors. We've got Alberto Del Rio taking on Ryback. Not necessarily a rivalry, but these men over the past 3 years have really struggled to find their way up from the bottom of the SmackDown card. Other superstars like the RAUSCH and Shawn Michaels and Daniel Bryan have kind of overpopulated the top of the card, and these guys have not really had much of an opportunity to prove themselves. Now, they've certainly had their matches against each other. The crowd loving Ryback entering here. Ryback most notably recently teaming up with Sheamus in a string of matches leading into Money in the Bank and immediately afterward. But that seems to be on hold now as Shane McMahon is seriously enforcing the tag team he created between Sheamus and Daniel Bryan that the WWE Universe is colloquially referring to as the Odd Couple. They have yet to perform in tag team action, but Shane McMahon is not allowing either man to tag with another wrestler. At least that's the last thing he said. Now into the match here, Ryback with an early lead, 2 big back suplexes right in a row. Getting in with that grappling style, just looking to decimate Alberto Del Rio. But Del Rio is a seasoned competitor here, and he's chock full of reversals and holds at the drop of a hat. There's a good leg wrench there from Alberto Del Rio. Now later in the match, Ryback working out of a hold, and he's got Del Rio on the ropes, giving him big punches, and he punches him out of the ring. Ryback follows here, and now Del Rio, Ryback reverses out into a big high-angle DDT onto the floor of the arena of the Superdome here in New Orleans. Del Rio goes head first, but he's immediately up on his feet, fighting Ryback. They're twisting each other's arms. Del Rio throws him through the steps. Now Ryback back in the ring, working around behind. He sweeps the leg out from under Del Rio, and he goes for another grab there. Del Rio kicks his way out of it. Oh, and Ryback with a huge momentum-assisted reversal into a big boot. He's keeping Del Rio down, back outside of the ring. Oh, big belly-to-belly from Ryback to Del Rio, throwing him across the floor, almost into the barricade. And now we're going into this. Can't be it. It is. It's the backpack stunner. It's the Ryback special, and he gets him when that Del Rio is down. And now Ryback, he's signaling, he's slapping the head. This is it. This is going to be it. There we go. He's got him up on his shoulders. Ryback turns around, and there's the run. There's the shell-shocked Del Rio all back into the mat, into the floor. He's incapacitated. Ryback back in the ring, celebrating. Del Rio could be counted out here. That would be kind of unfulfilling, but that's exactly what we saw on Raw on Monday night in the main event between Brock Lesnar and Rey Mysterio, so it's certainly possible. But it doesn't happen. Back in the ring later in the match, another big belly-to-belly throws Del Rio across the ring. Ryback is toying with him now. And there's a big knee to the back, throwing Del Rio down to the mat. Del Rio kicks out of another ground grapple from Ryback, but Ryback comes right back in with big punches, staggering Del Rio into the corner. He's got him up, and there's a huge gorilla press into a power slam. Del Rio is hurting now. Ryback dragging him into the center of the ring, wants him away from the ropes. Here's a count 1. Del Rio kicks out. Later on, Del Rio with the headlock. And Ryback reverses. He's got him up on his shoulders. He's got him into another backpack stunner into the center of the ring. Del Rio looks dazed. Ryback again wants him up. He wants him on his feet. This is going to be one last shell shock. It's got to be. The crowd knows it's here. He gets him up on his shoulders. Del Rio's got one chance to fight out, but he's not going to do it. There's the drop. There's the shell shock. Del Rio is out in the center of the ring. There's 1, 2, 3. Ryback wins over Alberto Del Rio on WWE Superstars. And as mentioned, they've both had trouble working their way up the card here, but little victories like this are certainly going to help, and that bloodshed title that may or may not become the World Heavyweight Championship, who knows what's going on with that. Ryback's got to have that in his sights with every little victory here. You can see he is pumped up. He wants back in the main event picture. Del Rio's trying to scrape himself off the mat and just crawl backstage after that beatdown. And here we are in our fourth match of the evening. Could very well be a main event on another show. Two of our biggest Raw competitors, Brock Lesnar and John Cena. And we know Brock Lesnar's story here in October of 2014. He's looking for redemption. He's looking for a shot back into the WWE title picture. He thought he had one heading into Night of Champions, but that match completely screwed him out of any hopes he had at a belt. But winning by disqualification countout on Monday Night Raw against the much smaller Rey Mysterio did nothing to endear him to the WWE Universe. And entering the ring second, we've got John Cena, formerly the biggest superstar in WWE. Over the last 3 years, one of the biggest falls from title contention anyone has ever seen in this federation. The saga of John Cena is insane. In the WWE Championship picture against the likes of CM Punk and Triple H and Brock Lesnar 3 years ago, he was regularly in the main event, and then he got injured. He tore a labrum. He was out of action for 7 months, and when he came back, there was no room for him up at the top. So he figured with the new setup that WWE had between its NXT roster and the developmental processes, he wanted to sort of become a role model to those that were younger than him, and he actually became a friend to Rikishi on the Raw roster, who then invited him to join his stable of Too Cool with both Grandmaster Sexay and Scotty 2 Hotty on the NXT roster. And they have had quite a good 4-person friendship for the better part of the last 2 years now, but it certainly has not helped Cena back up the card. He's been in a few main events since then, and he's tried his hardest to get himself back up in the picture, but it just has not worked out to his advantage, and you have to think the deck is stacked against him, taking on a very angry and determined Brock Lesnar here on Superstars. Now, to the action in the ring, we've got chain wrestling because these guys, they know each other. They've wrestled each other way too many times at this point in their careers. Expect this to be a close match, ladies and gentlemen, as we have reversals on top of reversals here, each looking for an early advantage, and there's Lesnar blocking the chops. Now we've got another grapple later on in the match, and they break out of it. Lesnar goes around with the arm, more reversals. He's got him by the head, and here comes a big-time suplex. Yep, John Cena up and down, 12-6, down on the mat. Lesnar going right into some punches to the head of John Cena, letting this match be as brutal as everyone here would expect it to be. But John Cena reverses out of the attempt to get him to his feet there. Later in the match, we've got another standoff. Lesnar grabbing him by the foot. He's got him up on his shoulders. There's an early F5 from Brock Lesnar. Cena is down, head first into the mat. He's hurting. Lesnar's trying to drag him toward the center of the ring, get him away from the ropes, as we've seen a lot of tonight. Here we go, we've got a cover, but that's barely even a 1 count, and Cena manages to kick out of it. Now, outside of the ring later on, through the stairs goes Brock Lesnar, Cena throwing him right through, but now Lesnar retaliates, throwing Cena into those same stairs. We've got a battle outside, Lesnar in the corner of the barricade, and he's thrown into the steel ring post twice by Cena before being deposited back into the ring. Cena's going to follow up and head back inside himself. And we've got a reversal here. Now Cena's got Lesnar up on his shoulders. Oh, and there's the attitude adjustment, the AA. Lesnar is down. Lesnar goes back first into the ring. High impact move. Cena now going for a pinfall here, dragging him into the center. We've got a 1 and 3/4 there from John Cena. And now Cena with his traditional shoulder tackles. He's getting pumped up. He's feeling it. He ducks the punch, and there's the big-time back suplex into a slam. The lights went out for a second there. We apologize. The Superdome having some power issues. And Cena now throwing Lesnar out of the ring, back in the ring later on after that little kind of power-up from John Cena. He's reversing out of a hold from Lesnar. He's got him by the arm, and there's a big drop-toe hold that opens up Lesnar. We've got more juice in the ring tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're thirsty. And there's a kick into a big-time suplex from Cena. Unorthodox, not quite the most solid-looking suplex in the world, but he lands it regardless. And he's dragging Lesnar into the center of the ring. There's a cover 1. Just a 1 count, and Lesnar kicks out. It's going to take more damage to bring the big man down. Lesnar immediately up with some brawler's punches, but Cena reverses. He got him up on his shoulders again. This is the damage we were talking about. There's another attitude adjustment. Is Lesnar still alive? Can he possibly have a chance after this? Here's the cover. 1, 2, 3. John Cena with a huge upset victory over Brock Lesnar on Superstars. Nobody saw this one coming. Lesnar can't be happy about a loss, but he's dazed. And wait, what's this? WWE Champion CM Punk in the ring with a lead pipe, assaulting John Cena out of nowhere. This is the unhinged champion that we have. And now, ladies and gentlemen, with that shock, your main event in its entirety from the SmackDown roster. Antonio Cesaro and Christian, these two have had a rivalry as of late. We're not sure where exactly it came from, but over the past 2 months, they have dominated each other on SmackDown in every type of match possible. Submission matches, ladder matches, random SmackDown headlining TLC matches. You name it, they have it. Neither will admit why they hate the other. We seem to remember there was just a backstage incident where their shoulders brushed against each other, but we're not sure what exactly set off the animosity here. Either way, they have come out consistently with things to prove. Now, it's gotten to a point where Christian has begun to recognize the amount of effort that Cesaro is putting into their matches, and has actually attempted to shake his hand a few times after matches, but this only seems to make Cesaro angrier. It seems to make Cesaro need to prove a point even more, and it typically ends up in Cesaro's favor with Christian planted face first. Now Cesaro offering a handshake to open the match, Christian deciding to take it. Oh, and he's kicked in the gut. You can't trust the maniacal Swissman like that. You just can't do it, Christian. You should know better by now. And the match is underway. The ref with a late bell call there. And Cesaro has Christian in a headlock. And he's got both of his arms into a headbutt. And a nice big belly-to-belly suplex. And Christian, he's already going to be feeling this. He can't be feeling great. I mean, these two have just torn each other apart over the past few months now, and you know their bodies have to be wearing down. They've gone at each other with no break. Every SmackDown and most Superstars, they have had a match together, and it's just created this insane rivalry that YouTube and WWE Universe are happy to finally be able to provide for you at home here in the main event on Superstars this first Thursday in October 2014. And the Superdome crowd is getting into it here. There was Cesaro with a big European uppercut. Oh, and he reverses a running maneuver into a nice big spine buster, cracking the neck for a show. He's going right after Christian, and Christian doesn't seem to stand a chance early on here. Cesaro's got a reversal for everything. These two know each other way too well. This match is going to be unpredictable, but there's another big belly-to-belly, and Cesaro early on is just throwing Christian around like a rag doll. You have to think that Christian hurting a little bit after their series of matches. He may not be up to full speed on this one. He's a bit older than Cesaro. He's been down this road. He's danced this dance before, and Cesaro is taking full advantage of that here on Superstars. Now we've got a grapple in the corner. Cesaro reverses out of it, runs at Christian for another big belly-to-belly suplex. He is going for the toss maneuvers early on. But ducks out of the way of a big Christian spinning heel kick. Christian trying to get up and fight his way back into this. We have a collar and elbow tie-up right in the center of the ring. Show of strength that Cesaro wins easily. Behind Christian, spins him around, and he's going to throw him up into the corner. And he takes him by the back and throws him into the steel ring post, shoulder first. Christian is not looking good after that. He's wincing. He looks like he's got some kind of pain in his shoulder for sure. We have to see if that affects the rest of the match for him. And Cesaro wasting no time, not caring about any potential injury here, slamming Christian down onto his one leg. And Cesaro looking around. Here we go. This is going to be that big airplane spin right here. Not quite the airplane spin, but you know what I'm getting at. You know what I'm trying for. And there's Cesaro with kicks on the ground. Christian not here at all. And there's Cesaro with the big-time, very European uppercut, throwing Christian into the air out of nowhere and catching him with his extended bicep. Christian staggering up to his feet. And this is going to be the neutralizer, no doubt. He's got him up. Look at the show of strength. All legs. Nothing else getting that lift up. Cesaro with the pin. One. Just a one count, though. Christian, resilient, if nothing. I don't know if he's going to be able to last much longer, but there he goes with a drop kick that Cesaro easily reverses out of. And he's grinding his face along the mat here now. Dirty tactics here by Cesaro, the Swiss brawler, and he is just dominating Christian. Christian's still wincing in pain. Not feeling very good, especially after the neutralizer brought him down mostly on his shoulders, neck, and face. And Cesaro still in control with a big boot sending Christian down. Look at the ragdoll there. He's grinding his face into the mat again. The ref is starting to get concerned for Christian. He's looking like he's ready to ring the bell at a moment's notice, but Christian reverses out. There's a big-time snap over. He's trying to regain some kind of control here, trying to take some kind of lead. He gets Cesaro up. And Christian runs at him again. Cesaro is down. Cesaro is looking like he may be hurting a little bit here. And one more time, Christian with a big flapjack reversing a big boot. He's got Cesaro down. The crowd's getting behind him. They want to see Captain Charisma pull this one out. He's still a fan favorite after all these years. Cesaro around behind him, though, and there's a big back suplex. He regains control. Christian in obvious agony in the ring, but there's another flapjack. He's giving it all he has. He's digging deep, ladies and gentlemen, but he's hurt. He's holding his body, and a big clothesline knocks him down to the mat. Cesaro from behind driving elbows into his trapezius. And Cesaro still in control here. Christian reversing out, twisting the arm around. Cesaro now reversing himself out behind Christian. And another big back suplex, catching the turnbuckle on the way down. That shoulder that was aggravated earlier took a lot of that impact. And Cesaro dropping an elbow into the back of Christian. Christian reverses out, slaps the hand away. Big point here. No, Cesaro with one more big throwing belly-to-belly suplex. Going for a stomp. Christian rolls out of the way. He's giving it all he has, but it looks like it's too little too late here. He's in pain. There's a big bulldog. Cesaro down face first. Christian has to hurry up and string some moves together. Cesaro reverses out. He's got Christian up on his shoulders. Christian reverses out. And a big high-angle DDT. Cesaro dropped face first onto the mat. Christian looks like he's putting the offense, but wait, Cesaro reverses. Christian's groggy. Cesaro, another neutralizer. He's got it locked. And there he goes. Christian is down. Christian's down face first. He's hurt. He's screaming. If you can hear him, ladies and gentlemen, he is screaming. And Cesaro with the cover. 1, 2, 3. Cesaro with the victory over Christian here on Superstars. Oh, and it was a brutal one. He led from beginning to end. Christian looked like he may have brought it together there for a second, but it just was not enough. Cesaro, too strong, too unrelenting. Christian, with all of his resistance, just couldn't make it last, couldn't put it together at the very end, and we're seeing some of the more brutal high-impact replays here right now, and they are definitely brutal. Just another chapter in this storied rivalry here in WWE, bringing up the strengths of the SmackDown roster here on Friday nights. And we'll probably see these two at it again tomorrow night, except that Christian is still hurt inside of the ring as we speak. The trainers have come down to help him out of the ring. They've got him on a gurney, and they're going to bring him up backstage. He's seriously hurt. Wait, Cesaro is chasing the gurney. No, Antonio, don't do it. Punching him off of the gurney, throwing him off the gurney, onto the mat, onto the floor, onto the stage. He's stomping on the shoulder. He's stomping on the shoulder.